everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori, and we're going to talk about expectations and why you're not supposed to have those, because no expectations leads to a much happier life. And not from the perspective of feeling angry and feeling defensive, like, oh, well, if I don't have expectations, I can't get hurt. No. That's not what I mean. You have to realize that when you expect you out of people, you will always be disappointed because people don't do it as you will. That doesn't make them wrong. I think that's the thing, right? Is that, and I've heard people say this, and I'm like, okay, that goes into a little bit of a victim mentality. When people say things like, well, people just don't have as good of a heart as I do. No, you literally just said that you're superior over everyone. You're not. Just because you and your experiences have created, maybe it's a false belief, a narrative belief, false belief, yes, but a limited belief is what I was trying to say. So if you're in a limited belief, if you're going through your experiences, all of those things, and it's leading you to how you respond to somebody, just because you respond kind to somebody doesn't mean that it's not without manipulation. And I don't mean intentional. But if anybody is being kind to someone with an expectation that someone has to be kind back to you, that's a transactional relationship. That's not being kind. Now, that goes deep, right? So I'm not asking you to just take whatever anybody gives you. If it doesn't serve you, you distance from it. See, that's the beautiful piece, is when you're not expecting others to fill your cup, because a person can't really fill your cup. They can put the cup really pretty and make it nice and shiny and all of these things. It's great, but they're not going to fill your cup. You have to do that. And when you allow others to be themselves and meet them where they are, meaning you have to know what you're dealing with, right? If I tell you I'm wearing a Peloton black and white checkered shirt and you don't like black and white checkers and you want it to be orange, you can want it to be orange all day long. It's still not going to change this fact, right? So if you're like, well, this is what I need, this is what I want, and my shirt is not capable of giving it to you, then you keep it moving. You don't judge my shirt. You don't be like, the shirt is wrong. The shirt's not wrong. The shirt's just the shirt. And that's why it is what it is a serious mantra that you have got to keep, because everything is what it is. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. We attach those emotions to it. Always know that. Things aren't good or bad. They just are, because everybody's experience could be vastly different. I mean, you know the rule of the spider web, right? If you're a spider and a fly lands in your spider web, ooh, you're lucky. You eating dinner tonight. You are happy. Fly got there, it's everything to you. Now, what if you're the fly? Same web, same situation, but now you're the dinner. Now you're in danger. Now you're in peril. Same exact web, two different perspectives. So when you're walking around expecting other people to do and believe and say and think and react the way that you do, that's a you issue. And it's an ego issue to think that your way is the only way. I give you guys the tools that I know have worked, that I've studied the brain, I've studied human behavior, I've studied why things are the way they are, accepting that feelings and thoughts aren't facts. I'm going to give that to whoever wants it. I won't make you take it, and I don't care if you do or don't take it, because you're on a different part of your journey. I'm here for it. If you're constantly in negative, if you're constantly in victim mentality, I'm probably not going to be like rocking with it, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to judge you though. I'm not going to say that you're wrong for staying stuck. I'm not, because it's not my journey. That goes into your self-love. When you can understand that people aren't you, they don't have to be you, they don't have to support you, they don't have to, and vice versa. When you get clear in that and you understand that you're enough, your vibe will attract your tribe. You don't need a lot of people. Right? We're human beings, we're mammals, we are very social creatures. This doesn't mean you just take whatever socialization and then expect everybody to kowtow to you and do things the way that you choose for them to be done, because it's not going to happen that way. But when you get clear in that, you can see somebody's thoughts, beliefs, how they do things, and you can say, that doesn't really work for me. And you can distance from it. Why are you going to sit there and judge it? Why are you going to tell somebody that they're wrong for that? You're expecting them to respond as you would. This comes into, now, usually with strangers, it's not as bad, but some people will obsess on the news, they'll obsess on socials, all those things. That's an ego thing. But where you struggle is to accept that sometimes people who you want in your life may not belong there. And that could be a family member, that could be a child, a parent, anything, a spouse. Maybe they just don't belong there. And you'll know that. You don't get to say, I want this and I'm going to mold this into what I want. No, a person is not yours to mold. A person is not yours to change. And a person is not yours to make them do what's going to make you feel good. Just because you have unhealed trauma, just because you have anxiety, just because you have depression, just because you're struggling with things, doesn't mean that everybody has to walk on eggshells because you're having a bad day. To expect that other people are going to coddle you goes into victim mentality, because your expectation is, well, if I see somebody in peril, this is what I would do. Okay, that's what you would do. They don't have to do that, and that doesn't make them wrong. So when I say stop with the expectations, just accept. Acceptance is going to be one of the biggest keys of your life. I promise you that. When you can accept that other people maneuver things differently, they say, they act, and they respond differently, and you can appreciate it whether you like it or not, now you are starting to really develop that self-love. You ain't got to like it. You do not have to like it, and they don't either. So don't go changing who you are for another human being either. You don't mold yourself. I'm not talking about compromise. Compromise, you never compromise your passions. Don't compromise your passions for anybody. But if you're like, okay, I don't really like to get up and do this with you, but you know what? I'm going to do that with you. But you're doing it because you choose to do it. Don't do something for someone, if it's a spouse, a partner, whatever. Don't do something and then keep score. Don't be like, well, I did that. I said that it was fine, so this is what I'm doing. Whoa, now we're playing tit for tat. That goes into ego. If in fact, and always know this, if you're going to do something kind, and if you go above and beyond and you do whatever, do so with zero expectations. The whole adage of treat others as you would like to be treated sounds great on paper, but the reality is no, because the problem with that is, yes, still do that, but just remember, end it there. Don't be like, do unto others so they can make sure to do unto you the same way. We're not doing that. So if you're going to do that, that's fine, but know that you're doing that with zero expectations. Zero. It's not difficult when you understand that you have to be your own priority. Stop thinking that you need to be anybody else's priority. Hard pass, you don't. But you do need to be your priority. And if people don't like it, and very often they won't, they'll call you self-absorbed, they'll call you narcissistic, they'll call you, there's a whole list of things, because you're on a healing journey that they are not there yet. Don't judge them for it. Just because they're judging you doesn't mean that you have to judge them to say, like, who's right? Be right or be happy, but you can't be both. Let them be right and you be happy, because they're not on that part of that journey. Know who you are and own it. Embrace who you are. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And the reality is, not everybody is our cup of tea either. So you always have to remember what it is that you're dealing with, what it is, the adversity that you're seeking, and stop expecting you out of other humans. It doesn't make them less than either. That's the part. I think you can somewhat get that, but it's when you start to judge it is where you go into your ego. You're not perfect. You're not less than somebody, and you're not more than somebody. If you look at somebody's job, and let's say it's like a fast food position, and you look at that as somebody who's less than, that's a you problem. That's not a them problem. If you look at somebody who's a CEO of something, and you think, oh my God, they're so much better than me. Oh my God, they're so much smarter than me. That's not the CEO's issue. That's your issue. Take inspiration from people. Don't judge people's abilities. Don't judge what they are doing. Don't stay in your lane. Stay in your lane and do you. And embrace that within yourself. When you do that, you can start to meet people where they are. You have better, healthier relationships. You understand, hey, you know what? We might see things differently. As long as it's not a deal breaker idea, I'm here for it. I'm down for it. That's what makes the world go round. If everybody was exactly like you, it would be a very boring place. And probably you'd end up like getting on everybody's nerves. Everybody would be on everybody's nerves because you'd be the same person. That'd be obnoxious. So stop thinking that everybody else has to do it the way you do. Stop expecting them to respond because you're having a bad day. Stop expecting. Check yourself. Stay in your lane. Allow humans to be who they are. If it serves you, great. And if it doesn't, you accept it, free up that energy for something that actually does.